All right, tonight we are going to continue our monthly review of the economic strengths which enrich the city of Schenectady. Tonight we welcome Transfinder, founded in 1988 and headquartered in Schenectady, New York. Transfinder celebrated its 25th year in business in 2013. As a national leader in student transportation management systems and services, Transfinder products allow school districts across North America and the Caribbean to manage bus routes and provide safe and efficient student transportation. Antonio Civitella, founder, president, and CEO of Transfinder Corporation, recently announced that the company has experienced tremendous growth in recent years, expanding the organization to over 70 professional employees. Transfinder has been recognized as one of Inc. 5000's fastest growing private companies each year for the past 7 years. Schenectady County Legislator Marty Finn, chair of the legislature's Committee on Economic Development, said, "This fast-growing company could have located their beautiful new $7 million headquarters anywhere in the region. However, Transfinder worked closely with the City of Schenectady and the county to keep this homegrown tech company here in Schenectady, creating new jobs and bringing new investment to our community." In addition, Transfinder will be expanding to Lower State Street by developing a business accelerator program at 263 State Street, which will cultivate talent and technology businesses in the high-tech sector by encouraging the startup and growth of related businesses. The total project cost is $750,000, some of which is funded by a regional council grant. Antonio Civitella is a graduate of Mount Pleasant High School and Siena College and was recently recognized as a Schenectady Patroon by Mayor McCarthy at the company's ribbon cutting in October 2013. We very much appreciate his being here tonight to make a presentation as part of Schenectady's economic strengths. Everyone, this is Antonio Civitella. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. What my topic, of course, here tonight is how a local company is expanding and how we're thinking how do we go global at this point. Next screen, please. Little overview that I don't want to repeat again, but sometimes good things need to be repeated, of course. We were a startup company here in Schenectady 25 years ago, and this year we celebrated our 25th year in business. We are a market leader in providing software solutions to school districts across North America and the Caribbean. Of course, as we mentioned, we just completed our new corporate, $7 million corporate headquarters move to 440 State Street, which is, of course, right next to Proctor's, just in case anybody forgot where it's located. Currently, we have 75 highly skilled employees, and we plan to grow around 125. The buildings actually can house that many people. As we mentioned in the introduction, and thank you very much for the kind words, we have experienced double-digit growth, and there is one thing that we could say about ourselves, how we're growing, but when you look at other companies that recognize us, such as the Inc. 500, at this time, they've recognized us 7 years in a row that we're the fastest growing private companies in the United States, and we're located right here in Schenectady. Of course, as the increasing market share, we're now considered the largest privately held company solely dedicated to school districts and their success of transportation and their communication. Other things that we did this year is, in honor of my father, we awarded the first Celeste and Civitella Scholarship to a graduating senior at Schenectady High School, which is going to, whether they're going to either a math or computer field. So we want to help local students to do better, and of course we recognize that technology, there's a huge shortage, so we're trying to promote students to enroll in science and math, of course. Next slide, please. And of course, this is our rendering of 440 State Street. It's pretty much, other than the landscape and around and the people, which are computer generated, it resembles nearly that image. So if you do have a chance, please come by, ring the doorbell perhaps, or send us an email, or go on Facebook and say that you like the locations. We had a grand opening on October 10th, and we had several hundreds of people walk through the facility, and we really wanted to show off how it's a state-of-the-art, it's a technology center, and we really want to be at the level where Google and Microsoft and Facebook are at on the West Coast. We want to do something right in Schenectady. Next slide, please. Other things that we want to let you know that last year we initiated a program with SCCC to offer online workforce development classes to train students and transportation personnel in our business, of course. Through a SUNY grant, we developed a curriculum using our software. We offered 3 courses to our clients in New York State. 1 is proficiency, 2, efficiency using our software, and 3, how to be a better manager using our software and our technology. Following the successful completion of these courses, students actually took an actual exam and each received a certificate signed both by Transfinder and SCCC. Next screen, please. As we mentioned, this is really a map of the United States, and we really take pride of where our clients are located. At this point, considering 1,500 school districts in North America, we are in about 10% of school districts throughout this region. In New York State alone, we're about 50%. So 50% of school districts in New York State use our software. So this map, of course, you could see the concentration of the New England area and, of course, the Northeast. And there's pockets in Texas which are growing areas, and there's large school districts around Houston that have 7 high schools in 1 school district. They have 150,000 students in that single school district. So of course you can imagine how large some of these operations. We have the entire state of Maine exclusively using our software, so that was a great success from us a few years ago. And from really a lot of several opportunities that are calling upon us at this point, that they're asking us to visit other parts of the world. So we're expecting to be global, not necessarily by our choice, but really from what's going on in the market space. Next, please. And as I mentioned, that as we're considered an expert here in this country, other parts of the world have asked us to be guest speakers. We went to China now 2 times, and we went to Dubai this year. They recognize that in the United States, we are really considered the golden standard. So how can other parts of the world benefit from companies like Transfinder to bring the golden standards there? So for us, it was an honor, but also we expect a really large business to come out of these small, big regions. Of course, in China, let me tell you about China. In comparison to the United States, in our industry, we have about 400,000 school buses travel roads every single day. In China, there's an expectation of being about 1.5 million to 2 million of school buses on a road in the next 3 to 5 years. Why is this important? Because they recognize that education is key. So as we recognized in this country many years ago, and part of the education is also making sure the kids get to school, right? We don't want to give a student the opportunity, if they live too far from school or it's a dangerous intersection, well, let's drive them to school. So we recognized this many, many years ago. Other parts of the world realize that that's part of the education. So we're proud of being invited to these events. Next slide, please. And as we mentioned, an effort to really spark an interest throughout this region of the startups, and of course promote an attractiveness of doing business in the downtown Schenectady, we are starting an accelerator. And you've heard probably this term accelerator. Most likely you've heard more incubator. And the reason why I like the accelerator better than an incubator, it's more of a faster pace. An incubator could be 2, 3, 4 years and really nothing come out of it. So an accelerator, it's more, you have a precise idea, you have a precise goal, and we could help those companies come to fruition. The nice thing about it is that as we start Accelerator in a Lower State Street, which of course we all know you guys are all preparing for the groundwork, or really the resurgence of the whole area to renew like you did the Upper Side where I'm located on 440. And we also know that in Schenectady, it really is the birthplace of innovation. Let's face it, with the Schenectady having one of the first R&D from GE and other companies. So this is really a hub for creativity and technology. Let me tell you, last week I was asked to speak at an event in Troy. I had a lot of fun there. Of course, there's about 80 leaders in a couple of districts that were asked, and they asked me to speak. A few days before the event, most people had about a couple months to prepare. I only had a few days. So I'm thinking, how can I be any different? So I spoke about Well, what do I really believe? I really believe there's actually three things that companies in this region should really think about. It's and I was trying to be catchy. The word of the year is called pivot. Everyone's using the word pivot. So I thought about, well, how can I talk about how we go from technology and pivot to farming, right? So I was trying to be a little bit funny about that. So I said, well, how can we talk about sowing the right seeds, right? So how do you, as a successful company, you have to decide, how do you decide what are the right seeds to sow? And then two, I talked about how you should grow where you're planted. Of course, I talked about my story. I'm from Schenectady, and I talked about how it's important that you grow where you're planted. And three, of course, is where I spun everything around, and there's a huge headline from the Capital District Business Review. Took my headline, and they used it on Friday morning to talk about the event. They talked about chicken. It said, I mentioned about it's important to raise more chickens. What does that mean in business? It really means that we need to accelerate a business by attracting more people, right? Raising chickens, you want to attract people. Really, if you wait for an egg to hatch, it's really too slow. So if we go get more chickens in this area, that's how we're going to do it. And how we're going to do this is one way that I talked about this area, and it's really the capital region, is really a fountain of youth. Why is it a fountain of youth? There's all these colleges and universities have all these students. Well, guess what? That is the true fountain of youth. We need to figure out how to keep them in here, and it's really part of the technology and the startup is to keep a lot of these students right here. So that was my pitch, and of course, most people liked it. They used my chicken story as a headline. Next screen, please. Other parts, of course, we expect to really take two different directions in a company. We have an education leg, which is we believe that there's other parts in education that we could expand. And of course, with logistics, there's other parts that we can expand our knowledge and, of course, our expertise. So those are future areas, and of course, we expect to be in a downtown Schenectady for many decades, and of course, we want to be in both Lower and Upper State Street. And that's my finale. If you could go next. This is we just sent out our Happy Holidays cards to all of our clients, and there's about, I think we sent out about 2,500 of these today. So I want to share with you. Happy Holidays, and again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak and about our success. And really, without the help of Schenectady, a lot of people in this room, we really wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
If there's some questions, I'd be happy to answer if there's any questions.
Any questions from the council members? No. Well, I think many of us got a chance to visit your building when you had your ribbon cutting, and it's a beautiful building, and
thank you very much.
It's a wonderful company, so
wonderful.
Thank you.
On Friday, we received a prestigious award. This is before we would send the PowerPoint. On Friday, we received the Best Place to Work award from Business Review, so that was a great,
very nice.
It was a great award, so we want to thank everybody.
Congratulations. Thank you.